Well, hello. Today I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about making stencils. I use stencils far more than I used to, if you know what I mean. I discovered there is this material called mylar. I don't know if you can see it very well yeah, I think you can see it there. It's a plastic, slightly sort of milky, but obviously you can see through it, and it's quite tough. And this stuff is what I used to make the stencil that I used for this card here. This die, well, the two little dies actually there, are from Simply Graphic, French company, as is the butterfly, in fact. And I used those dies in my brand new Sizzix switch, and I cut this stencil. Now, it is quite tough to cut this mylar. The description of it is 250 microns, whatever a micron might be. And it comes in a pack with A4 sheets, and I've just cut it up into usable sizes. But when you use your die cutting machine, you need to make sure that your plates are in good order, that the die is a good one, because it's quite tough to get through. So that was the stencil that I made with those two dies from Simply Graphic for this card. You can use a stencil either to make the image itself or to make really nice, interesting backgrounds for your cards. I have got a bunch of background dies here. These are mainly Sizzix and Memory Box. But these are great. You can either cut a panel, just have this cut out, or you can do it from a piece of mylar or a piece of card or a piece of vellum and make yourself a stencil that you can add colour and ink via ink through to your card. So this is how I keep all of my dies, in fact. I keep them on magnetic sheets, which I have added some card to the back so that they're a bit more rigid, and I keep them in plastic boxes like this one. This is what I've got my homemade stencils in fact. But what I'll do today is try and show you using a stencil to make the image itself and using a stencil to make a background. So let's just get these out of the way for a minute. I'm not going to be cutting any stencils now because my Sizzix machine is a different part of my craft room, so I can't do all at once. But these are the ones I've already cut. There's a variety here. I don't know if you can see them. This is a Sizzix one that is quite nice for a repeating pattern for Christmas cards. This one, bit of a brick wall. It could be very nice to trail some flowers over that one. This one is just raindrops. I remember doing this and just putting some, stamping some Versamark through it, and then a little bit of clear embossing, and it just made like little shiny droplets, which is quite a good way of doing it. This one is one of those Sizzix ones I went a little bit skew with, nearly went off the edge, but doesn't matter because I could put it onto my project and use some of this, which is very low tack tape, to go just right up to the edge and keep it still. So this tape is by Sticks to Anything, STIX number 2 anything. It's lovely, really lovely. When they say low tack, they mean low tack. It keeps things in place, but it comes off easily, which is a boon. Okay, let's, how far have I got? What am I doing? Oh yes, I've just cut, this one is another one of, can you see that? Yeah, I think you can. Simply Graphic again. These are called a Nordic trio. They're sort of, I've got ink all over my fingers. Trendy things. And that, again, is one of the Sizzix ones. I love this one. So let's just get on and start, because I could be chatting here forevermore. Right, here's a piece of card, which is the size of my usual card fronts. I normally cut that front panel down a bit, but I would always start with the larger size, because if I've got a little bit of leeway about where I cut my panel, it's always a good thing. This one I did on a largish sheet of card, and I was going around like this with my die, trying to find the best position to have my aperture, just so I can see the bit that I wanted to see, trying different sizes as well. So here's my card. What am I doing? Let's do this one. Bit of low tack tape on it, and I like to put things slightly off centre. Thirds always work well. So here I've got some Distress Oxide ink, and I've got a blending brush, and I've got a sponge dauber, and I use both of these. The blending brush will give a more delicate, paler sort of finish. This one you can get a bit more coverage with. Depends what you want, the effect that you want to use. It doesn't matter which one you use. Now these stencils, they have got little pointy bits in, and if I'm not careful, I messed up that one there a little bit when I was cleaning it. So don't go the wrong way so that you get ink underneath your stencil. Always go in the direction that is going to keep it absolutely flat. So that's a little kind of word of warning, really. So here's my ink. I'm going to get a bit onto my blending brush, and I'm just going to dab it down like this, really gently. And you get a really pale colour. You see? I'd like a little bit just more on that corner there. Because it's hinged at the minute, I can put it back down exactly where I took it up from. That'll do. Right, let's move it. Let's put the other one somewhere. Because it's transparent, I can see where I want to place it. So here we go. Remembering to be careful of those, that bit particularly, that's where I messed it up. Trying to clean it. I wasn't thinking, just went back the wrong way. That's fine. Right, let's have a little bit going out to the side here, I think. Hope the head didn't get in the way. Sorry about that. There we go. That's fine. I think I'll have just a tiddly bit there to have the feel. I need a bit there. There we go. That'll do. Okay, I'll clean that later. Now, it's a bit of an arrangement. Don't know quite what I'm going to do with it yet, but we'll see. What I did with this one was to add a bit of a splatter stamp over it. I always think it sort of softens the look of something somehow. This stamp that I've got here is very, very old. It's a Stamping Up one, and it doesn't look very clean to me, so I'll just give it a quick wiping over. And it was from a set called Gorgeous Grunge or something, but heaps of companies make splatter kind of stamps, and it just depends how fine or otherwise you want your splatters. You can do it with a paintbrush and just knock it on if you want to, but I quite like using a stamp. So here I'm going to just pop a bit of ink onto that stamp, and over the, can you see how that just kind of softens it straight away? What I did with this one as well was to add a bit of gold Gilding Wax. Now, I'd never done this before, didn't know if it would work, but it actually worked out all right. And this is what I did. I just wipe that off a minute. There we go. Here's my gilding wax. It's made by PBO or Pebio, I don't know how you say it. I'm going to get myself in a pickle. So put a little bit onto my mat. Always need a baby wipe to hand. And all I did was just to that. And then, look how delicate that is. Sweet, isn't it? A bit more. There, look at that.
Sorry, I'm not able to help with that.
Mr. Siri's trying to help me back there. I don't know what on earth's going on. Did you hear that? Good grief. Right, let's wipe this. That, I think, looks quite sweet. So if you imagine that either as a panel itself or showing through an aperture with a little butterfly, a bit of sentiment on, it's delicate. And I love this colour, this pumice stone. It's beautiful, beautiful. Right, so that was my gilding wax. So I've never used it as a stamp before, but it kind of works. So there you go. There's another one. Now, the next, I'll throw that one away. The next one I'm going to do is using one of these as a background. That one is the actual image itself. This one I'm going to use just as a background. And some of these colours that Ranger brought out with the Distress Oxides, when the Distress Oxides came out, they brought new colours for both Distress Inks and Distress Oxides, and some of them are just fabulous. Love them. This one is Stormy Sky. Stormy Sky. I love this blue. So I'm going to do this background stencil in a bit of this blue. Now, with a blending brush, you can be ever so light and you just do delicate stuff. Really gently. Let's lift it up and you can see. Can you see? I moved it then. Ah, I moved it. There we go. Now, I thought I would use a little bit of this one just to get a bit of darker colour on the one side. Just maybe in just a tad. Let's have a look. There's a bit there. Oh, I've moved it again. Still, I can see to put it back in the right place. It's not like I'm trying to do over stamping. That would have been a bit of a... Oh, good grief. Come on. There. Just that bit there. Do you do this kind of thing as well? Oh my goodness. There we go. That's fine. That will do. Right. And that I will clean. Because of this, because it's in this plasticky stuff, you just wipe it off, use it again. No problem at all. Now, that is nice for a background. Can you see there's a tiny little thing there? I've got a gizmo here for that. There we go. Right. Now, what to put on that? I did wonder about one of these bellflowers that I picked the other day, but to me, that's just, it's kind of too much. It's you can't see the wood for the trees, if you know what I mean. Just don't go. So I thought to myself, I don't want that. I think I'll try a butterfly. And I die cut a couple of butterflies here, and I thought, let's have a look and see what, I think this one is Stampin' Up. It's not bad, but it's still a bit much. Cut another one. Look at that. Ooh. This gorgeous thing is Memory Box Dreamy Butterfly. Isn't that just gorgeous? Look at that. And that will be fabulous. Maybe put a bit of silver or something on. I'd love that. Love it. So where have I got up to? I think I'm there. That is your stencil for an image. This is the stencil for a background. Cut it with your cutting machine. You can use. I've cut lots of stencils with my silhouette portrait. Again, using Mylar, and it cuts beautifully. If you're going to cut a die, make sure it's a good die that cuts well with card at least, and also that your plates are nice and flat and not too damaged. So there we go. As ever was, have a go. Thank you very much for watching.